The great chamber of the Galactic Council hummed with the collective breathing of 1,000 species. Crystalline beings chimed in harmonious frequencies, while methane breathers gurgled through their translation units. At the center of this cosmic amphitheater stood a single human, unremarkable by most standards, wearing a simple blue uniform with a small patch depicting a pale blue dot. Ambassador Sarah Chen had traveled 47 light-years to stand before this assembly, representing a species that had achieved faster-than-light travel barely 3 decades ago. The humans were galactic infants, their civilization a mere blip in the Council's 10-million-year history. Supreme Arbiter Zexthul, a towering mantis-like creature, with 6 arms and compound eyes that reflected the chamber's bioluminescent lighting, leaned forward from the apex throne. When it spoke, its mandibles clicked in rhythm with its words, translated instantly into Chen's neural implant. Human representative, Zexthul's voice resonated through the chamber. Your species has been granted the extraordinary privilege of council recognition despite your youth. However, membership requires contribution. The council demands tribute. A holographic display materialized before Chen, showing a list that made her heart sink. Rare Earth elements worth more than Earth's entire GDP, biological samples from their homeworld's unique ecosystem, and most disturbing of all, 10,000 human subjects for behavioral and genetic analysis. The chamber fell silent except for the ambient hum of life support systems accommodating 100 different atmospheric needs. Every eye, sensor, and optical organ focused on the small human woman who stood alone before the galaxy's most powerful, governing body. Chen had prepared for this moment during the long journey from Earth. Humanity's greatest minds had debated responses: diplomatic acquiescence, economic negotiation, technological bargaining. But as she looked at that list, particularly the final item, she felt something ancient and primal stir within her chest. Honored Council, Chen began, her voice carrying clearly through the chamber's acoustics, I thank you for this opportunity to address such an august assembly. However, I must respectfully decline your tribute request. The silence that followed was deafening. Several council members began agitated movements, tentacles writhing, scales shifting color, wing cases clicking. No species had ever refused a council tribute demand in recorded history. Zexthul's compound eyes seemed to darken. Perhaps the translation was unclear, human. The council does not make requests. We issue requirements. Your refusal means immediate expulsion from council space and economic sanctions that will cripple your developing civilization. Chen nodded slowly. I understand the consequences, Supreme Arbiter, but I also understand something that your council may have forgotten during its long reign of power. She activated her own small holographic projector, and suddenly the chamber was filled with images from Earth's history, ancient battles, medieval sieges, industrial warfare, and finally, the devastating conflicts of the 20th and 21st centuries. My species has a unique relationship with authority, Chen continued. We have a saying, those who would trade essential liberty for temporary security deserve neither liberty nor security. We've fought wars against empires that spanned continents. We've resisted tyranny even when facing annihilation. The images shifted to show human exploration, ocean depths, mountain peaks, polar regions, and finally, the first tentative steps into space. But more importantly, Chen's voice grew stronger. We have an even more relevant characteristic. We are perhaps the galaxy's most accomplished survivors of existential threats. New images appeared. Asteroids burning up in Earth's atmosphere, volcanic eruptions, ice ages, solar flares, and the near misses with various cosmic phenomena that could have ended human civilization. You see, Supreme Arbiter, while your council has grown comfortable with its power, collecting tribute from species too weak or too afraid to resist, humanity spent its entire evolutionary history learning one critical lesson: how to survive when something bigger and stronger wants to destroy us. Chen paused, letting her words sink in before continuing. So here's what I offer instead of tribute: a warning. Humanity will not be subjugated. We will not hand over our people for experimentation. And if the Council chooses to wage economic war against us, you will discover something that your 10 million years of peaceful dominion never taught you. The hologram shifted one final time, showing recent images of human industrial capacity, technological innovation, and the rapid expansion of human settlements across dozens of star systems. You will learn that a species with nothing left to lose, backed into a corner by galactic bullies, becomes the most dangerous force in the universe. We've toppled kings, overthrown empires, and defeated every tyrant who ever thought they could. Break the human spirit. Chen deactivated her projector and stood in the sudden silence. So I ask you, Supreme Arbiter, and this entire council, are you certain you want to be the first galactic government to declare war on humanity? Because I promise you, we won't go quietly into the night. We'll make you work for every star system, fight for every trade route, and pay in blood for every human life you try to claim. The chamber erupted in chaos. Some species called for immediate military action. Others frantically calculated the economic implications of a protracted conflict with an unpredictable species that had somehow achieved interstellar flight in less time than most civilizations learned to harness fire. But Supreme Arbiter Zexthal remained motionless, compound eyes fixed on the small human who had just threatened the most powerful organization in the galaxy. Finally, Zexthal spoke. The Council will reconsider its tribute requirements for the human species. Ambassador Chen, you may return to your homeworld while we deliberate. As Chen walked from the chamber, she heard the Supreme Arbiter add quietly, almost to himself. Perhaps it is time the Council remembered that the most dangerous prey is the kind that fights back. The great doors closed behind her, and Sarah, Chen allowed herself a small smile. Sometimes the best diplomacy wasn't about making friends, it was about making sure your enemies knew exactly what they were getting into.